Hello, friends. This is Dr. John WorldPeace, JD, coming to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico. World Peace, Teaching Peace is the title of these commentaries. Tonight, which is November the 4th, it's about 7:16 in the evening. I'm going to talk about United Nations and global collapse. World Peace, Teaching Peace, 22/11/04, which is the date, year, month, day. There can be no question that the United Nations has failed in its mission. It seems that democracy on all levels in time will collapse as the various global partnerships proceed to a point of stagnation where no global federation of nations can prevent global war. A global economic war can be more destructive than a boots on the ground war. The coming collateral damage in the third world countries is going to be collateral damage. There will never be a global boots on the ground war that is going to involve every nation in the world. Religious wars have all played out. The world human society worships one God, and that is the God of money, which is the God of economics. Russia has, without cause, other than the ego of Putin, attacked Ukraine as a follow-up to its takeover of the Crimea in 2014. That conflict has been a festering boil for 8 years. Putin's ego assured him that he could take over all of the Ukraine. He was wrong. We have to consider that since Vietnam, the world has realized that you cannot fight a homegrown army dispersed throughout its nation. There are no more massive soldier-to-soldier combat engagements along a battle line where the rear is secure. Therefore, bombing, conventional or nuclear, is not going to win battles that are scattered throughout a country. So using Russia as an example, what does that war look like in the Russian model except the complete destruction of infrastructure and loss of civilian life? It really seems that these multi-million-dollar bombs can only kill one or two people at a time. And if you do not control the entire country, the country will reroute food and other necessities to the area being attacked, as well as just evacuate the civilians to a safer place. The Putin model is that a group of people, and even a nation, can be bombed into submission. That is not true in Ukraine. The American Patrick Henry summed it all up when he said, "Give me liberty or give me death." That's what the Ukrainians are saying to Putin. So war is no longer a matter of soldiers fighting each other, but just an attempt at genocide by destroying the infrastructure and preventing a population from having food, water, and shelter from the elements. You end up with a low level of genocide. If there is a low level, people are still dying, just low level is not as many as Hitler killed in the concentration camps. Nothing on scale of Hitler if you don't control the entire country. You just convert the population into gypsies, scattering within the country or exiting into neighboring countries where the aggressor cannot go. So the Russian war against Ukraine comes down to slow genocide and infrastructure annihilation, hoping that at some point the population will surrender. That's not going to happen in Ukraine. It did not happen in Vietnam, and it did not happen in Afghanistan. A more 21st century country cannot be bombed into submission against its will. The size of the country, the population, and infrastructure is too great. Now here's the reality. Russia, for the last 8 months, has simply bombed infrastructure and killed and displaced millions of civilians, and the United Nations will not do anything about it. It has the power, but not the will. Russia may be hated for what Putin is doing, and everyone may agree that he is an evil gob of spit. But the economic dependency on Russian oil will not allow these nations that need Russian oil to vote with the majority of the UN. So Russia continues to bring in money to finance Putin's war in Ukraine. The threat of nuclear war is really a joke. Tactical nuclear weapons are just bigger, useless bombs that can only kill some civilians depending on the level of radiation. The same with dirty bombs. Yes, nuclear bombs radiate the land, but what is the point of turning the country you want to dominate and control into a non-productive wasteland? Makes no sense whatsoever. The problem is that a nuclear war could escalate to mass destruction of cities. Moscow, New York, Beijing, and so on. Mutually assured destruction, MAD. And in today's world, a full collapse of modern society. Bombing the world back into the Stone Age. A collateral reality is that you cannot wipe out a city with 12 million plus people, wipe it off the map with just one nuclear bomb. Russia cannot win the war in Ukraine as long as the USA and Europe keep Ukraine supplied with arms. And no matter what the cost, that must be done. To keep the actual fighting, leave it to the Ukrainians. Allowing Putin to take over the Ukraine will do nothing but expand the war into the next Putin target, and sooner or later, American boots on the ground in a war of attrition. What I propose is that the UN is useless in this matter. So the U.S., France, and Britain bring a vote in the UN to exclude Russia from the UN. If the UN does not back the USA and Europe, both pull out of the UN and begin to build a regional mini-UN that has the potential to expand globally. Removing Russia from all that connects with the UN or just ending the UN is going to cause a lot of grief in Russia. It will be the ultimate sanction. The United Nations is a joke with regards to world peace. The United States is under attack from within. The best chance of a true democracy is on the verge of collapse. If the United States cannot keep democracy alive, fat chance a global federation like the United Nations can. The United States is under attack from within. Who knows how long the Ukraine war will last? It really does not matter, because within 5 to 10 years the world economy is going to collapse under the World Human Society refusal to reduce their standard of living and immediately stop using fossil fuels. Within the next 10 years, we will know if capitalism and democracy can truly manifest world peace more efficiently and peacefully than any other form of government. Here's a spoiler. It can't. As Jesus said, there will always be wars and rumors of wars. The predatory DNA nature of human beings guarantees the ongoing collapse of civilizations until the world is uninhabitable. That said, Russia cannot be allowed to just continue to bomb Ukraine. The removal of Russia from the UN, or the termination of the UN, will get Russia's attention, not to mention the entire world. This will make Russia a pariah in the world human society. The world is too integrated economically for China and Russia to avoid a collapse of their economics and eventually the entire world economic system. And the human-created global warming continues to move to an irreversible doomsday scenario. What is most interesting to me is two of the four major powers in the world, the USA and Europe, Russia and China. Russia and China are ruled by communism that is stuck in the 20th century, with one powerful dictator with the ability and determination to rule the world. This war in Ukraine must end immediately, but there is only one possible ending. Russia must be driven from Ukraine so Russia and China know that global power games of the 20th century are no longer workable in the 21st century. Specifically, China is not going to get Taiwan if Russia does not get Ukraine. It's not going to get it anyway. The global learning curve is very steep right now for all parties. I think the big brains in the U.S. and Europe are already working on a Putin assassination. That is a quick solution, and the Zionists are the ones who can make it happen. No dictator is bulletproof or drone-proof. If the war does not end soon, that will be the scenario, in my opinion. You cannot cause a turnaround in a democracy if you kill the leader, because the replacement mechanism is too deep and immediate. But you can stop a country like Russia or China where there is a one-man rule. Kill the one man and that country goes into chaos. Right now, Russia has a viable, semi-democratic opposition that can and will take over if Putin is off the grid. Terminate Putin and the Ukraine war ends within weeks, maybe days, and Russia moves toward democracy, and that leaves China as the odd man out. There it is. The UN gets stronger and more demanding. And if not, the United States and Europe just disband it and go form another United Nations with a better structure that can stop one man from creating havoc in the lives, havoc and death in the lives of millions of Ukrainians. It's crazy. The world is too economically integrated. China is already getting the message. They told Russia today, don't use any nuclear weapons. China can't get the parts they need to make more money. So they're starting to hurt. The United States is hurting. And there's people starving because Putin tried to shut off the grain shipments. Well, that didn't last but a day. He declared 4 regions of Ukraine to be Russian and immediately lost one and is getting ready to lose another one. It's crazy. It's not working. It's not going to work. As long as the United States and Europe continue to send the firepower and the defensive weapons, Russia's not going to take over Ukraine. Enough of the UN. A lot of injustice in the world. But right now, Russia controls the ball because so many little guys, little countries, are not going to shut off the Russian oil. This is Dr. John WorldPeace, JD. Friday, November the 4th. Have a good day.